Hello, you are watching another edition of DBE TV News. We come to you every week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Welcome, I am Makhe. In our top stories this week, delegates from the Ministry of Education in Angola visit the Department of Basic Education and Umalusi. The Limpopo Education MEC and subject advisors monitor coding and robotics progress at a primary school. The Gauteng Education Department launches the Multi-Certification Skills Program. And the fourth phase of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the basic education sector is underway. The Department of Basic Education is assisting Angola with establishing a national exam system. Delegates from the country are in South Africa. They started their visit at the DBE head office in Pretoria to learn and understand how the national exam system in the country works.
In Angola, they do not have a national examination system. What they do have currently is examinations administered by each of the provinces, and they are currently planning on establishing a national system so that they could assist or assess their learners in grades 6, 9 and 12. And they consider South Africa as one of those countries that has an excellent national examination system, and therefore they've come to spend the rest of the week with us so that we could support them by providing them with all the information and also organizing site visits where possible, engaging with Umalusi, the Quality Assurance Council, so that they could get to understand how national examination systems work.
DDG Simone Geya, who was representing the Director General, has welcomed the delegates from Angola and explained how the South African education system works. She also spoke about the Maths, Science and Technology Directorate and the importance thereof.
We have declared this year to be the year of mathematics within our schools, and we're working very hard to ensure that we do improvements there to encourage more learners to continue doing pure maths from grade 10 onward. And in the same with physics, physics is a very easy subject for them to drop. They take other science subjects like life sciences rather than physics because they struggle with it. And so it's about how we introduce innovations to improve and allow for learners to get extra classes and to continue with doing those subjects with a view to going into particular and much needed careers that the country needs, but also that the world needs. So our idea is we must continue to develop our South African learners that they can compete equally with other learners in other parts of the world. And in particular, that our learners are able to compete equally with similar developing countries to the level of where we are. So that they should find an equal comparison to where learners are in other developing countries equal to ourselves. At best, if they can take up space in the world and take up those job opportunities there, that would be the bonus of what we're trying to develop. But our country also needs so many of these kinds of skills, and so it is about how do you increase the number of learners who can provide those skills when they go into the world of work.
The Angola delegation also went to Umalusi, the National Senior Certificate Quality Assurer, to get more information about the work they do. CEO Dr. Mafura Kometi says the meeting was a learning curve for all.
We discussed with them how Umalusi features in Africa, in the SADC region, and internationally, and the different associations that we belong to. The meeting was quite fulfilling in the sense that I observed that it is not only the colleagues from Angola who have been learning from us. We have also been able to learn from them. How do we do their things? So for instance, in the case of Angola, as things stand, they do not have a national examinations. The examinations are run at school level and they are certified by the school. And in instances where the students want to go overseas, then they've got different protocols of how those results are certified at provincial and at national level. That was quite an eye-opener to see that the colleagues are doing the things in the manner in which they do. And they're saying they want to learn from us because they want to have national systems like we have at Umalusi, where we have national examinations, a national quality assurance body, Umalusi. It was quite a beneficial visit. We have committed to having webinars together. We have committed to having exchanges in the form of study visits. The colleagues from Angola have indicated that they'll be inviting Umalusi to come over to guide them every step of the way as they continue to set up their systems.
Toronto Primary School in Limpopo is leading the pack in the coding and robotics program. The school, with over 1,700 learners, has told the Education MEC that even before she launched the subject, the school has already incorporated it into their curriculum and subject plans. Ahead of the visit to the school, subject advisors held a workshop where they detailed what was being done in their various provinces to ensure coding and robotics is adopted. Chief Director for Communications at the Department of Basic Education, Elijah Mhlanga, addressed those in attendance, thanking them for embracing this addition to the curriculum.
What you need to also embrace is the fact that things are changing anyway. And I'm glad that you are all here. We didn't have to go out to get new people or import people from other countries. It took the skill that was already there, was transformed to understand that there is now a new way of doing business. And that's exactly what you are doing together with the colleagues in the provinces, in the district schools, and everywhere else. So it's something that we need to appreciate. I don't think that we see what we're doing, but it's so big.
He added that because of the work done in schools, the future of the South African child is brighter than before. He also reminded the specialists that the work they are doing is not about them, but rather making life better for the learners.
For me, as a product of rural education, I come from somewhere in Bushbuckridge. My village is the last one before Kruger National Park. So when you locate that school and look at what is possible to come to those schools there, it's a complete mind shift. It always melts my heart when I go home and I find these kids doing all these amazing things with these machines, with all these things that you coordinate that they have. It's just amazing. It makes us feel confident that in the next few years, the classroom won't be the same anymore when there's full-on implementation across all our schools. And I think the future of a South African child, whether in the rural area or in the city, is not going to be the same anymore. What I've learned with education is that they will not thank you now. You will get your appreciation when you have left. And people will look back and say, when did this start? And when they check the dates, they will find that it was the time when you were there, when you were working. And I think for that, you really need to give yourself a huge round of applause.
MEC Mabunguli Rule Ramakhanya, together with the delegates from the Department of Basic Education and the subject advisors from various provinces, then visited Toronto Primary School to see the progress made by the learners. She said planning needs to be a priority when dealing with such subjects.
So I need to start by appreciating on behalf of all our communities. You know, education becomes a very deep-rooted issue in society. And me and you seated there, Our role is to make sure that our learners, as they enter our schools, they get what is best. I always say to the team administration that is with me in the office, Mr. Masitla and the team knows, Mr. Kekana and everybody, I say to them, if we don't plan properly, if we don't execute, you as a specialist or as designated officials to deal with the coding and robotics, you don't do it correctly, it means a teacher and a learner in class will never get it correctly. So our responsibility is so much more than even an educator that is going to stand in front of a learner and educate, because at a planning, at a level where we are, getting the correct resources, if we don't do it properly, it means an educator and a learner in class will not have equally what they are supposed to have.
The MEC went on to remind teachers about their responsibilities, especially in this Human Rights Month.
In the profession where you are, in the department which me and you are, what is it that we are saying to our learners about their rights when it comes to giving them all in terms of coding and robotics? What is it that we are saying to our learners in all our provinces? What is it that we are saying to our learners in terms of their rights when it comes to giving them? Because the minute you are called a specialist in this area, you are supposed to give it all for the learners to be able to rise. Remember, if you give it all, especially on coding and robotics, you know, what the learners were saying here is just us with what Prof. Marwala wanted to always say. When he said it, that time of artificial intelligence and all that, we thought it's a very far program, but IT is here. The fourth industrial revolution, it is here. And I'm looking at a team that is supposed to deliver us to the fourth industrial revolution. You are the specialist in that space.
When we return, we join Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Makhe in Mpumalanga.
The Department of Basic Education is currently piloting the use of scripted lesson plans in the life orientation curriculum in school, including a section on comprehensive sexuality education. Not to be confused with sex education, CSE is a process of teaching and learning about the cognitive, emotional, physical, and social aspects of sexuality within the curriculum.
The only thing that my mother told me was that don't play with boys. If only the parents could understand that these people are human beings and they're developing and they're growing and they're developing emotionally, physically, mentally. They want to experiment.
Through CSE, we give learners scientifically accurate, age-appropriate and culturally relevant content to equip them with knowledge, skills, attitudes and values that will empower them to realize their health, well-being and dignity. The LO curriculum has not changed, and the scripted lesson plan pilot in 5 provinces will continue in 2020. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Makhe visited various schools in Hazyview in Mpumalanga, where she encouraged learners to put their schools on the world map. She started off on the first day at Paula Secondary School, Mshadza Secondary School, and Kanyisani Secondary School, all in the Ehlanzeni Education District. These were follow-up visits to the schools after she went there last year before the final examinations. In the first visit, the Deputy Minister identified underperformance of the schools and ill discipline among learners, resulting in poor results.
Maui totally the opportunity, grab it with 2 hands. Mara, stay lage, ngoba butwe na bosesweni basijabulise kakhulu. Balalela botishera, bahlonipha botishera, laba bebenda grade 12 last year. Baphatha igama lenkunzi namhla sesiyalada. Asanateli lokuba asanateli aside enkunzi ngoba inkunzi basi ya underperformer. Sesida enkunzi sito celebrate. Mara kungagcini bese nina ansendi lokho bosesweni nabo butweni bende kona. Sithe la grade 12, grade 10, grade 11, grade 10, 9 and 8. That put more pressure.
The Gauteng Education Department says the multi-certification skills program focuses on the learners and the skills they can acquire for the changing world. The program, which will be rolled out at primary and secondary schools across the country, was launched at the Katlehong School of Specialization by MEC Matume Chilwane. The GDE Multi-Certification Skills Program is a learner-focused skills program that will equip all learners with critical and practical skills, apart from them only receiving a national senior certificate upon completing their basic education. The program will ensure that every learner in the province acquires a minimum of 1 accredited skill per academic year from grade R to 12, thereby accumulating 13 skills certificates when they leave the schooling system.
We now are focusing on the vocational and occupational component, and the multi-certification program gives effect to that. The program is also located within the priorities of both the province and the GDE, and in particular it's about skills for a changing world, including skills in our technical high schools. Now, what is this program about? This program, Multi-Certification Skills Program, it's a learner-focused skills program. We have many programs in the department that deal with development of teachers, of managers, but this program focuses on the learners. And it, as I said, it integrates the 3-stream model.
Coming up next, we are in the Eastern Cape as the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative workshops kick off.
The Bella Bill is in its final stage, and we get the opportunity to make oral presentations in 2 provinces, Northwest and Mpumalanga. Northwest this weekend and Mpumalanga the next weekend. This is the last opportunity we'll get to influence this bill. We do what we do because we love our children. Let's protect our schools.
Now that you've received your 2022 matric results, it's time to continue with your education plans. If you passed, congratulations. However, if you're not satisfied with your results, there's always a second chance to write your matric. Go to your nearest education district office to register or log in to e-services.gov.za.
The 4th phase of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the basic education sector is well underway. The Department of Basic Education is hosting provincial workshops to determine what provinces are doing differently compared to the other phases. This leg of the PYEI began in February, and it aims to place more young people in schools as education and general assistants. The EAs are expected to provide support in classroom preparation before lessons, support teachers in the classroom during lessons, and manage learners after lessons. While the GAs are placed as e-cadres, they assist teachers in integrating ICT in classrooms as well as assist in the admin of SA SAMs. Principal at Tubekile Senior Secondary School in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape says the program has been very helpful to the school and there's been a significant difference since the EAs and GAs were placed at his school. He says, however, there are a few places for the program to improve.
What I would like with the program to improve, for starters, I would wish that the program can continue the whole year, from when we open the schools until we close the schools. Because currently the program, there is a gap, it started on the 1st of March and it ended in September. So there is those months that are left not covered by the program. I would wish that we can have more of those assistant teachers. I would wish that we can have an assistant to every teacher in school. Let's say in my school we've got 20 educators. I would wish that we can have each educator to have an assistant. Currently I have 10, So if we can have that, and I'm sure that, in terms of the quality of work, it will improve, as well as in the administration part, also to have those that are going to assist in the administration part of the school, that is here in the administration block.
He went on to explain that the education assistants have been of great assistance to the teachers and learners too, and do not teach the learners.
These are not educators, as rightly put it, these are not educators, and therefore they are not teaching. I want to emphasize that they are not teaching, they are not teachers. They are assisting the teachers in their administration work, i.e. marking of the register, making sure that the study material or whatever that is the teacher is using, is being given to the learners, controlling, the learners, especially if the educator is not in class at that particular time, you would know that there is no learner that is left unattended. So the education assistant will always be there in terms of assisting the teachers. So until you get into the school, you would know that these educator assistants are not teaching. They are there to assist the teacher. The teacher is doing the teaching job, and then the teacher will give the educator assistant notes. Please bring these notes to the attention of the learners. That's what she or he is going to do, not teaching.
Meanwhile, one of the assistants says she has learned a lot from this experience.
The experience has been good, very productive, hence I love to work with kids. It has been something which is within myself, and I'm learning a lot, and it's a change. Hence now, as we see, like, kids are struggling, so it's a great opportunity for myself because I love to help out. I love to see kids passing, as education is very important and which will take them far. So for myself, it has been a great experience.
She added that the workshop has also exposed her to other things that she was not aware of.
I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship, which means I didn't know, there are things I didn't know about it. Hence, I've always wanted to become one. I've always had like business ideas of which I didn't know how to start. I didn't know how to write business proposal, business plans. I didn't know how to budget my money. I didn't know about like savings and also earning. So now, as I'm on this workshop, I've learned a lot about it, on how to formulate your business, on how to start it, because you firstly budget, you firstly you must have like ethics, behavior, meaning if ever you want to become an entrepreneurship, you must take care of yourself, you must be confident enough, you must know your product, you must know the brand that you are selling, you must also be open enough, you must be trustworthy, and also you must sell yourself. You must not be like shy.
The late Free State Education MEC Tate Makhe has been described as a hard-working person who loved his family and his job. Makhe passed away on Sunday morning, the 5th of March, in a car accident. One of his protectors also passed away, while the other is in hospital. Makhe was 59 years old. His funeral was attended by many, including ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, former Secretary General Ace Makashule, MECs from various provinces, and premiers too. During his funeral proceedings, his son, Junior, used his address to not just speak about the kind of man his dad was, but also encouraged the black child.
My father went from being a garden boy to being an engineer. He was working for, since he was about 16, after his mother passed. His mother passed at 16. After his mother passed, he started working more and more and doing garden work. From doing garden work, he had, I don't want to call him a supervisor, I don't know, an employer, whatever the case may be, who used to give him books to read every single time he came through. So that man also expanded his knowledge. I wish I knew his name so that I can also pass along my gratitude to him, because none of us would be here if that man didn't start by instilling education in my father and believing in him as a garden boy. So I want to tell every black child in here, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. My father went from doing gardening, like Ahota guys, like Yazi, you see it. Nah? He went from doing gardens to traveling to every continent on this planet.
Junior added that he had met his dad the day before he passed away.
He came to see me in Gauteng on the Saturday he passed away. I got to see him one last time. But he came to see me in Gauteng, and we had just rolled out a plan to ensure that the Free State enters a new dimension of educational training. And we had run about a 4 or 5 hour meeting discussing how we're going to plan it out, and I hope as a dying prophecy I can continue that dream that he had for him.
The young Makhe has promised to keep his dad's legacy alive.
I wish even up in heaven he knows that I'm going to do my best to make him proud, and I promise to progress the Free State and the black community just as he's been doing.
Basic Education Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Makhe represented the Gauteng Premier's office at the funeral.
Before us lie a revolutionary cadre, a brave one, a dedicated one, a clear-minded one, an ideologically astute of upright. When your heart ceased to beat, Comrade Tate, our hearts were in pain. When you stopped breathing, Comrade Tate, your tears, our tears never stopped rolling. When you lied there, emotionless, our emotions ran out of control because we knew without you will be empty and leaderless. It is difficult to describe the pain and sadness in my heart as I bid goodbye to a dear colleague, leader, and comforter of society, a brother with whom I shared so much over a long period of time.
She added that the release of the matric results will never be the same again, knowing that Makhe will not be physically present.
And we will always remember you when we release those results. You were simply the best. What struck me always about Comrade Tate has absolute humility. There was no pretension and sense of self-importance. There was no arrogance, only warmth and comradeship and that smile. There was no pettiness, only maturity, deep wisdom, and vision. It is these qualities of humility, selflessness, integrity, self-sacrifice, and dedication that we honor him today. This is what we should emulate in our lives. As we lay him to rest, we must restore our faith in our people to build an education system for all, an education system that empowers, an education system that truly embraces a non-racialism, non-sexism, and prosperous South Africa. Go well, my dear brother. Go well, Mampudi, people's champion, simply the best. Your presence will be missed dearly.
Makhe was part of the African National Congress, the longest-serving member of the Free State Legislature. He was hailed for being a loyal comrade to the party.
Comrade Tate was passionate about education. He was a good comrade. Even here in this conference, Tate unasa tsamaile di slate. O tluwe ngwana Makhe tsamaila le mungwa. And then when we finished Nazareth, he was deployed by Khalima in Northwest. He didn't finish that job. And then he will call me SG, we have to talk. He was very happy.
Meanwhile, Minister Angie Motshekga described Makhe as a man in his own league who was committed to the people of the country. She added that he was a man of integrity, of principles, living his life by the values he had.
And as a basic education sector, we are heartbroken, we are gutted by his untimely demise. As we bid farewell to Dr. Tate Makhe, Chair, we do so with heavy hearts but at the same time with a great sense of gratitude for the time we shared with him. We take great comfort in knowledge that he will be remembered as a true champion of basic education and a servant of people.
She added that Makhe immersed himself in education and ensuring that no child was left behind.
Our country has really lost one of the most outstanding education leaders and the one who was simply the best. As Maya Angelou once said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people never forget how you made them feel. And Tate made you feel so good, so safe, and so comfortable in his space. His leadership and vision made people feel inspired, feel valued, and empowered. He was known for his consultative and collaborative unity. He motivated people. People felt very motivated to work harder, to improve, and contribute to the greater good. He had a way of making people feel like they had a stake in the success of the education sector and that their efforts were appreciated and valued. Indeed, Comrade Tate left an indelible mark on numerous people's lives, and his legacy will remain a source of great inspiration.
And so that's how we end this bulletin this week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Remember to send through your stories or comments by contacting us on our Twitter handle at DBE TV News. Thank you once again for watching.